Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shane Wall.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Innovation Theater this morning. And I get a chance to talk to you about some fun, exciting things about what we're doing in terms of technology futures here at HP. And as a CTO, I get the great chance to lead a fantastic team looking at what do we think the future of technology is. And really, since I was a kid, since I was 6 years old, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I knew that when I disassembled my mother's favorite chair. Couldn't figure out how to put it together for a little while, which probably frustrated her a bit, but eventually did. And then at 12, built my first tube amplifier stereo system, and at 15, my first computer. And so I knew at a very young age that I wanted to be an engineer and that I wanted to have the chance to create and to do something new. And it was that unbridled energy, that belief that anything was possible as a kid, that you truly could strap on, you could make a jetpack, you could put it on, and you could go into that world. And when you're thinking about the future, that's really where you have to start. You have to start with that blank mind that anything is possible. And it comes with that fundamental belief, a belief in what is possible. So that's where we start from an HP standpoint, and certainly in printing and personal systems, is with that belief. But centered in that belief, first, I'll give you a little bit of an overview about how we go about technology, how we go about visioning. And it's kind of got three main parts. It starts with what's going on in the world today, what's going on with people, what are the trends, what are the macro socioeconomic trends. And then it talks about developing a belief around what we can do about it, and then mapping the trends that we see, the technology trends to it, and then identifying the programs. And so I'm going to give you that snapshot. And we'll start with these socioeconomic trends. And the first one is massive shift in the population itself. Here at the end of this decade, there will be 8 billion people on the planet. Many of them will be connected, all of them thriving on social circumstances and expectations about life. And by the end of the century, there'll be 26 billion people, and there'll be huge demands upon how we use our resources, how we're efficient, and how technology can impact that. Not only that, but we have an aging population, certainly in the mature markets, Western Europe, United States. Populations are aging, and the impact, their expectations of how they can use technology or how we can use technology in order to impact their lives for the betterment, for the lengthening of life itself. And the third is the movement of wealth as it's moved from the Western geographies, moved into the emerging markets, whether that's in Asia, throughout China, Southeast Asia, India, or into Africa. And these people are coming into a society, and they're coming into technology pieces, and they're skipping entire generations. They didn't have to deal with a lot of the primitive early days that we did, but they come in an advanced state where it's wireless, it's mobile, and they have access to a tremendous amount of information immediately. And then finally, we have the rise of an entire generation that grew up with technology. They didn't adapt it along the way, they got it at birth. And many times you see this, and I'm sure all of us see it, whether it's in our kids or our grandkids, you see where they actually start using tablets and start using the technology sometimes before they're even speaking. And it's that generation that is going to have, a profound impact on where we move technology in the future. And so it's these shifts, these socioeconomic shifts, that impact, that shape what we believe. And so what I'd like to start with now is a very short video that is about our belief system. And what I like about it most is we didn't go do actors, we didn't go stage this. These are all real people, real research scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs within the labs talking about how they do it. So with that, let's cue the video.
We believe in a world where the lines are blurred between the physical and digital, between work and home, between front office and back office, between makers and manufacturers, where the technology takes a back seat to a human-centered design, unleashing creativity, self-expression, and a whole new wave of innovation.
We believe in a world where people and things connect. We're moving from an era where people need to interact with machines to get things done, to a world where technology becomes more intuitive. It learns from us. It anticipates our needs.
We believe in a world where technology can make us more human. As machines take over our mundane and repetitive tasks, we can focus on what we want to do instead of what we have to do.
We believe in a world where evolution meets revolution, where harnessing technology is going to spark a new era of creativity, productivity, and potential. This revolution is increasingly driven by a world that is closely connected by mobile devices, social media, and the internet. At HP, we know how to blur the lines, to integrate these technologies seamlessly into our everyday life. With our arsenal of smart connected devices, software, and cloud services, we are ready to lead this revolution.
We believe in this world
where technology surprises us and amazes us,
where innovation and imagination leads us to a better future,
where the best is yet to come. We believe.
So it's a simple concept, but it has a profound impact about your ability to really change the world, and that is the sheer belief that we believe. And that has really framed everything here. So what I want to do is shift here and talk about the areas that we see. What is profoundly impacting in terms of the technology shifts going on? And I'll talk about it generically about how we look at it, and then what I'm going to do is shift after this, and I'm going to give you what we're doing, because we have programs in all of these areas, and I want to give you just a little bit of sampling of those. So the first one is a shift, is the hypermobility, and that is the movement from not only just phones and tablets, which is we clearly have today, but to hypermobility, and that is things like wearables, embeddables, ingestibles. It is the clothing that you wear that can harvest energy from you, that can sense things about your body. It's the items that you would swallow that can track information about your health. And it's going to profoundly change the way we look at technology. And a lot of the things we've been doing in the mobile space really lay the groundwork for things that are going on in the hypermobility space. The second big area is contextual and immersive services. And this, is the consumer things you see that can be, the 3D movies you watch. It can be the graphics. It can be the video. It can be the computational photography, the simple idea that, I can look at something through the camera on my smartphone, and I can do computing functions based on it. I can tell you what you're looking at. I can tell you the items around you. I can give you directions. But it's also contextual experiences. This is things like, there's a tremendous amount of information that is known about you. If you think about what is on your phone or the tablet that you use today, I have everything from your contact list, your calendar, inboxes, probably multiple inboxes. I probably have your Twitter feed, Facebook. There's a tremendous amount of information that is available to you that you can use to go about your day. And what contextual experience is about is how do I assemble those things in a private and secure way to proactively deliver services to you. And we see this in a variety of applications today. We've been developing a set of experiences I'll tell you about, and some applications that will start coming out this fall. The third one, and you heard a little bit about it if you were in the session right before me, is the Internet of Things. Now this is a huge market, giant market, and it will be the movement of not only us online, but objects online. Now the known part of that is where we take physical objects, whether that might be a refrigerator, a tractor, your car, or any other object, and we embed technology in it. And by embedding technology in it, we then can connect it up to the internet and we can deliver services on it. But frankly, I think that's the smaller piece, and I think that's probably the most boring piece. Where it gets fun is when you can connect everything to an internet service, and you didn't need the technology in there to do it. And we'll talk about some of the things we're doing at HP to do it. The next big area is in 3D transformation and printing, and I think everybody has seen the buzz about 3D printing, certainly a huge aspect going on. But I think that's the small part. Where we're at, I think, is on the cusp of the next industrial revolution. You know, the old industrial revolution, we figured out how we can do mass assembly, how we can stage goods, and then we can, you know, change them in order to build products, and then we can ship them out, and we figure out how to inventory them, and a business model becomes, how do I optimize this? To where there's going to be a massive change in how we go about doing this, because we're going to be able to real time take materials in, create product, publish it, and print it on demand. And that cycle will change radically in the number of things that we can do. This is another big area we're investing at HP. And then the last area is in smart machines, and that's where we move from things, you know, doing it ourselves to where things actually do things for us in an intelligent way. Now this might be, you know, actual physical tablets or things like this that get smarter and provide services, but I think eventually it becomes to robotic assistants, where they do very simple, mundane things, but they do it for us. And we'll talk about some of the things we're doing here. So let's talk about each one. The first one is smart accessories. These are fashion-first, smart, connected devices. Now today, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people use Fitbit, or they use Fuel Band or different things in order to track little things, or to track their health. But the biggest issue with those is they're ugly. And what we want to do is change that. Because accessories, wearables, are not anything new, right? They've been around for 26,000 years. 26,000 years, you wear something to make a statement about who you are. And that belief system, that focus should stay intact. And so what we're doing, and you'll see a set of products coming out this fall, is very fashion-first set of accessories that can track basic services that you will wear today. Okay? And they will focus on the fashion, and the technology will be hidden behind it to provide a service. It'll start in consumer, but it'll eventually move to enterprise, where you'll be able to use those simple accessories to log into services, to enter buildings, to gain access to enterprise features. The second big area is in contextual services. And what we're doing is we have a tremendous set of assets available to us. We have obviously the clients from a phone, a tablet, PCs, and the like, but we have the back-end infrastructure. We have the servers. We have Vertica. We have autonomy. And what we're going to do is weave that together in an application and service for the enterprise that will allow us to do more proactive contextual services. It can link into the back end, things like your Salesforce.com, and can do deep analytics on it, and then provide a front end that will be a text and voice-driven query engine, so you can access information about the enterprise. So you can ask things like, how are sales in Asia? Who is the biggest customer in Asia? Who is the main influencer in Asia? And it'll deliver those services based upon the back information that it has. Become much more contextual services to the enterprise. The next one is an Internet of Things, where we're doing a variety of things, but I'll use an example here of real things. Last year we introduced what's called live paper, and this was a simple idea of a photo that's printed out. Perhaps it's on a greeting card, your Christmas card, and then what you can do is point your camera from a phone, tablet at it, and it comes to life because it recognizes the image, it links it back up with a service, and it can deliver a video to you. So you have a video then of the greeting to grandma, wishing her a Merry Christmas. But that's the first step. What you're going to watch us come out with over the next year is we'll move that more into live documents and more into the enterprise. And so you can envision things like the construction worker on site with blueprints, who has the physical blueprints, doesn't understand a piece of that document or a piece of that blueprint, points a camera at it, it recognizes it, connects it up, goes through the firewall, back to the right document, figures out that blueprint was, you know, 2 versions out of date, delivers the new one down to the phone, zooms in the part that he's looking at, and gives him the detail. Okay? You take a physical object, a real object, and you link it back up with internet services. The next big area is in what I said, 3D transformation. And I really do mean, I think we're at the cusp, and it may take us 10 years, but I really do think we're at the cusp of a new industrial revolution. And at HP, we're working on all three parts of this, and that is the front end. How do I input things? How do I actually take physical objects and scan them into a system? Or how do I create them? And then how do I describe them in a way that can be edited, do the edits themselves, publish it back up to a site where somebody can then turn around and buy that item immediately, and it's printed back out on a 3D printer itself. We have programs in all three of those areas. You'll watch us, it'll probably come out in pieces, but the whole thing is centered around a vision of how do we transform what we do in manufacturing today. And then finally, in the area of smart machines, we're doing a set of things that work to how do we make computers themselves intelligent, but we're going to turn around and leverage that into our mechanical expertise that we've developed from a printing side in order to create new types of machines, new types of experiences that we think are going to revolutionize how we interact with technology. And basis of this is some work that's gone on in the labs, a program actually called Cog Ex Machina, just very simply Latin for cognition of the machine. And what it is a massively parallel compute system that mimics the brain. And each of those individual nodes can act autonomously, just as neurons fire and create connections. They can compute and create a connection. And then what we have had the ability to do, and we've proven in the lab, is that they can remember that connection and they can learn based on that. And so we've proven it out, actually, by taking very simple machines, and then they can detect items in front of them. So they know that's a red object, it has this association. That's a yellow object, it has this association. That's hot, stay away from it. And it can learn from that and adapt its behavior. So what we're going to do is take that basic compute work, build it into some of our simple machines that are just static, like tablets and PCs, to provide smarter contextual services. And then from there, be able to go into simple robotics that can do, simple tasks for us. So these are the things that we're doing, that are real projects within the labs today. And if you pull all of this together, it gives you an idea about how we go about technology visioning, how we go about looking at the future. And the easiest way to describe it is take those socioeconomic trends, take the technology pieces and what's happening from a business standpoint, and how do we marry those together? And by marrying those together, we can create new innovations that are out-of-box thinking, that a way you would look at something in a way you didn't before. Because you're not looking at a simple piece of technology, you're looking at the trends, the macro trends that are going on, and you're thinking about how these pieces of technology can impact those trends. And then when we overlay it on the things that we're focusing on globally from HP, mobility, and moving it to hypermobility, big data, which is that back end, that is the contextual services, that is the smart machines, security, so that we can do it in a secure end, or a secure means end-to-end, and the counter of that, or its bookend in privacy. And then cloud services, because all of this is going to be delivered over a set of cloud services. You put all of these together, and we truly can impact people's lives. We can change, we can make them more productive, we can help them take action in order to correct things that are wrong. We can help them be creative in ways they couldn't before, and we can help them collaborate. We can help them share. So we put all this together, and we come full circle back. Full circle back to that simple belief system, to that unbridled spirit when you were a kid, and you knew that anything was possible. And with that belief, you can truly, fundamentally change the world around us. And that's really what we're about in the CTO office, what we're about in printing and personal systems. So with that, thank you. I would like to invite you to attend some follow-on sessions. They actually build out in detail some of the things that we've been doing. You see the sessions there on the left. Today at 1 o'clock, we'll talk about how mobility, some of the things we're talking about, has been transforming the workplace. On Thursday, Shri, who works in my group, will talk about the Internet of Things and wearables, and he'll give you a little bit more of a glimpse into kind of a fashion-forward approach to accessories. Stop by and visit some of the booths in here, and then you know, after the event, certainly follow up and talk to your account representatives if there's things that I can help you with or come talk to you about. So with that, thank you very much.